For too long women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. It was a night in solidarity of women around the world joining forces and making their voices heard during the 2018 Golden Globes. So let's keep the fierce female energy going with all of tonight's most star-studded moments. This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Relax, there's TurboTax. So in case you're wondering how any other award show will top tonight's show, I don't think you can. I see you 2018 cue Beyonce's Who Run the World, because tonight's Golden Globes was all about girls clubs grace the red carpet and all black in honor of the powerful #Time's Up movement, which calls for putting an end to sexual harassment and letting voices finally be heard. Not only were celebrities in support of the movement, but many were also honored for their movie and TV show roles that brought awareness to sexual assault and men's abuse of power, like the HBO miniseries Big Little Lies and The Handmaid's Tale, two shows that took home multiple Golden Globes. Big Little Lies took home 4 awards, while The Handmaid's Tale scored 2. Nicole Kidman, who portrayed a victim of domestic violence in Big Little Lies and won for Best Actress, used her speech to talk about the importance of her character in light of the sexual misconduct circling Hollywood. And this character that I played represents something that is the center of our conversation right now: abuse. I do believe and I hope we can elicit change through the stories we tell and the way we tell them. What all this awareness surrounding the industry sexual misconduct began much earlier. Unlike opening monologue early, tonight's host Seth Meyers took every opportunity, as he should, slam Harvey Weinstein during his opening monologue. He even went so far as to say that Harvey would likely be booed in 20 years during his inflamorials. Don't worry, he'll be back in 20 years when he becomes the first person ever booed during the in memoriam. It'll sound like that. On the subject of totally non-subtle call-outs that gave us life tonight, Natalie Portman took some time to throw some notable shade while presenting alongside Ron Howard for the Best Director category, which just so happened to be an all-male category, to mind you. And here are the all-male nominees: But The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro. Although this caused a wave of silence, it was probably the entire audience thinking she went there. Leave it to Twitter to generate the actual out-loud reactions, freezing Nally for having some seriously large cojones, if you know what I mean. Celebs like Gina Rodriguez, Shonda Rhimes, Amber Tamblyn and Matt McGree all tweeted out an approval from her comment, rightfully so too. Of America's most beloved comedic actresses, Jennifer Aniston and Carol Burnett presented the award for Best Performance by an Actress in a Musical or Comedy television series, when the two took some time to enlighten the audience with a little comedic relief. And let's just say things got I'm happy that you're coming back to television, because Will and Grace was one of my favorite shows. I'm just kidding. Like, didn't even ask Carol if she could touch her famous ear from her years of presenting her long-running TV shows. The Carol Burnett Show, in which she always sign off with a chunk of her left ear, which was a secret family signal to her grandmother. One actor who's managed to make us feel things we didn't quite know were possible every week for the last year, and Sterling K. Brown, known for his leading role in This Is Us. He took home the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Drama TV Series, but even more noteworthy is the fact that he was also the first ever black man to win in this category. And just FYI, his acting role isn't the only time that calls her some serious issues, but therefore when you wrote a role for a black man like that, could only be played by a black man. And so what I appreciate so much about this thing is that I haven't been seen for who I am and being appreciated for who I am, and it makes it that much more difficult to dismiss him. On top of Sterling K. Brown's iconic win as the first black actor to win a TV drama award, Season 3 became the next actor to have an equally extraordinary title next to his win for Best Performance by an Actor in a TV Series, Musical or Comedy. Not only is this his first Golden Globe, but this is also the first win for an Indian American actor. The other best part about this is he wasn't even expecting this win because of the internet's prediction. I genuinely didn't think I would win because all the websites said I was gonna lose. Okay, now I know James Franco winning an award was a pretty big deal, but Tommy Wiseau kind of stole the spotlight for a brief moment when he tried to beat James to the microphone. And of course, how could we just ignore the face Hugh Jackman made as James picked up his award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. He's just shook. But what we go into the very best moment of the night. Our next one is a tiny compilation of actors who were just shook by Oprah's presence in the front row. Rachel Brosnahan was the first to say hi to Queen Oprah and did so in the middle of her acceptance speech, but it was certainly came round and Weinstein stole all of our hearts when he acknowledged our president doing Carol Hi Oprah. Oprah don't want to run out of time. I'm honestly surprised no one else did that, because how could you just go up on stage and not acknowledge the big O? Even Seth didn't during his opening monologue. And now the time has come for our final best moment. I wish I could just insert Oprah's entire acceptance speech, because she's basically announcing her campaign for presidency, but I already covered that in a separate video. However, I will say her speech was filled with so much inspiration that there wasn't a dry eye in the house, especially when she made the most powerful statement of the night by saying this: she lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men for too long. Women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men, but their time is up. And that, my friends, was the moment everyone burst into tears. They'll probably be in it, you bet. Dramatic, but you know what I mean, it was emotional. So what did you guys think of our list of best moments? Were there any moments you think we missed that should have been included? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for hanging with me right here on Clubber's Newsfeed. I'm your host, Drew Dorsey. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. But to the left to check out the big winners of the night, and over to the right for the best dressed liveries at the Golden Globes. This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Relax, there's TurboTax.